Got it. Well, for our next interview, I have chosen, and I think people are really interested in finding out about Max, because Max is coming back, and it's I guess I would go out there and say one of our, if not the lead restaurant in downtown Saline, and we're very, it's quite a story actually, the McNeil family, but I have with me everybody's favorite, Wally McNeil. Welcome, Wally.
Thank you, Larry, thank you. I wouldn't consider us a lead. We've certainly been here the longest. I mean, but
Well,
I wouldn't say lead.
I think a lot of your fans might disagree, but that's okay.
That's good for them. Thank you. I appreciate that.
But anyway, we're actually taping this on Wednesday before, and it coincides with you being back in the fray.
Yeah, we actually pulled the trigger. We're going to start curbside delivery starting today in a couple hours actually. 4:30 to 7:30 is pickup times. There'll be somebody there after 3 to take orders. Just call our number 734-944-6227. And for now, it's going to be Tuesday through Saturday. And not this week, but next week we may do, like heat and serve for Sunday that you have to pick up on Saturday. So that's the plan. We limited the menu, so not everything that we did before is on the menu because we're trying to keep it to we want to make sure, so this is a new avenue for us. We wanted to make sure whatever we did was consistent in terms of quality so we can, we don't have any problems, and stuff too, because I've heard good and bad from several other restaurants that have tried this in terms of how it's gone. So we're gonna try to limit how many we can take at the very beginning so we can work out the bugs, but we truly think that it's probably the best thing to do at this particular point because after we open in the new norm, whatever that is, that takeout's gonna become certainly more of a percentage of business than it has been before, so.
Are
So that's where we're
Are
at.
you sure you're not doing this just because you and Cindy had just about enough of you being at home tapping?
Actually, you know what, surprisingly, it's been all right.
Huh? It's a bit.
I mean,
You're a fun guy, Wally.
she has a lot of pet names for me that we can't say, but no, it's been okay. The whole thing's been okay, Larry. It's actually been, I don't know, it's kind of like I don't know, it seems like it's been just a reset, even I look at even opening Max again, it's a chance to be able to step away from what you were doing and put more emphasis on things that are important for you going forward. So,
Wow.
We've done a lot of cleaning, we've looked at our menu, we've actually spent a
tell
little bit of money on improving some things there.
Tell us about the menu while we're at it, because we're.
Well, I think we're, going forward, we're not gonna do as many, like before. We have a large, even though it's pretty specifically designed for seafood, we got a lot of items on our menu. So we got, we had 20 appetizers and 10 different salads and 30 different entrees and stuff like that. And it's a lot.
Now, I know that's available online because my wife read it to me last
Well,
night.
the to-go menu is certainly not that extensive at all. And even when we go out, I think we're gonna change it more often and try to keep it more in tune. So instead of trying to do something for everybody, which I still think there will be, I think we're gonna try to try to make sure that everything we do is executed at a better function. So it's time to improve, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, it's just, I don't know how to explain it, it's just.
Certainly, it's certainly good to see you. It's good to see you smiling because it's really tough in your industry. I know, and I suppose the beverage side of it is a whole nother story. That's going to happen later on. I would think. I would guess. What's your take on when we're finally going to have lunch over there?
Well, I you know what, I don't know. I mean, there's, certainly I've been, I know people that are on the board for the Michigan Restaurant Association. I've had conversations with them. That, there's been a big push in the last week to get Governor Whitmer to commit to the May 28th opening. From listening to her over the weekend and the interviews and stuff, I think that's a stretch to think that she'll do that. I'm hoping for mid-June, but quite honestly, from my personal standpoint, I truly believe we got one opportunity to get this right. And the problem is if we open and we have a major relapse, I don't know how we recover from that, because certainly if we have to close down again, well, first of all, I don't think we would be closed down again. So now we're putting ourselves in a situation where there's a whole liability issue with your staff and all that sort of stuff and everything too. And then, they're not gonna be any, at some particular point, the stimulus money is all gonna be gone. So what do you do, and stuff too. So, I wanna get the business back. We wanna do what's right for the community and all that kind of stuff. But at the other time, I truly, we got one chance to make this right. So, we'll see. You certainly will take whatever avenue we feel appropriate at that time. If she gives us 3 days notice on 28th, we're not opening. I mean, we'll certainly take a week to 10 days to prepare properly, so we're in the best position to succeed going forward, I'm not only, I don't worry about myself so much because I've had a pretty good kick at the can. I've enjoyed myself, but, we've all got compromised people in our life. I certainly do at home with my family situation, and stuff too. But I also have to be, not only me and my family, I've got 30 employees, and they all have people in their lives.
What's it like for you getting those employees back?
There's 2 people that I know of that aren't interested in coming back. And then the rest
Out of 30?
Out of 30, and 2 of them actually moved away because of school situations, both of them. I mean, I'm sure there'll be attrition as we go along with that and stuff too, but we had a staff meeting yesterday with, mostly everybody, and they're all willing to even come back. There's some people that say, don't bring me back until you absolutely need to. But we do have a lot of people that actually are willing to work a couple shifts so they can still get their unemployment and work. And we've got some people that say, look, I'm bored out of my mind, just come back and stuff too. So we're not gonna certainly need as many people doing this 5 days a week going forward until we do open. But we've had pretty good response in terms of people. That's been kind of overwhelming to me because I thought we'd lose a lot of people, but they're all like, no, whatever you guys need, let us know. And we've done a little bit to help them out during, and the chamber has by giving, the virtual tip jar that Main Street did, the program that you did. We've had 2 or 3 different people in the community reach out to us personally and say, here's $30 Bush cards for your employees, pass them out as you see fit. Here's $900 for your employees, pass this out as you see fit. And they've reached out to some of our employees that were their favorite way people do it. We live in a pretty special place, to be honest with you. So
Yeah, that's one of the advantages, I think, of a small town where there's a lot of community feeling, a lot of cooperation, and you've been here long enough, you have quite a following, you have quite a fan base.
Yeah. Well, it's,
Despite your sense of humor.
Right, despite my sense of humor. Well, we felt, we feel okay too. I had somebody call me yesterday and say, hey, you're open, I wanna buy 10 lunches or 100 lunches for social services. And I said, well, you know what, Cindy and I already talked about doing something going forward because I still have stuff that, I've got, we did macaroni and cheese. I took it off the menu. I got 30 pounds of block cheese that I'm gonna make macaroni and cheese. And then, we can do that, but I wanna donate it. I wanna take your money for it. And they were like, well, maybe then we can work something out instead of you doing it once. We can do 4 times and we'll help offset your costs. So, and stuff too. I had another person call me that wanted to buy $1,200 of gift certificates to give to the some grocery store employees, the fire department, the first responders in the community. I said, wait until I know that we're going to open because I didn't want to take people's money for gift cards, not knowing that we were going to be able to open. And I called her and I said, okay, I'll do it. And I matched it. So now she's got $2,400 gift certificates instead of $1,200 that she can give out too, because I still feel like we have some obligation in that stance too, because we've been well represented, but we have an obligation to it too. So I guess
it's funny.
What comes around goes around, as my grandmother used to always say. So that
I remember going into this. It looked grim at first, and I remember you as well as every other restaurateur in the area were making this decision on: do we want to go with the takeout option? Can we afford to? Is it worth our time? And you at that time, I believe, was kind of the, this is not going to be worth my time. I can't survive this way. And which is probably true of about half of the restaurants. Some decided they would tough it out, and it has been toughing it out, I will grant you. Some went into it with takeout and then made the financial decision that it's not going to pay.
Right.
And so it's all across the board. It kind of depends on your financial model, but
a lot of it has to do with your model's got a lot to do with it. I came from Main Street Ventures, so I know that company pretty well. They tried it in certain markets, and then some of them are doing well, some of them aren't. It depends. Location's got a lot to do with it too.
What's very encouraging to me, though, is the fact that you're coming out, though.
Well,
that's a good sign for the rest.
And I'll tell you, I'll be quite honest with you and stuff too. When we first made the decision, there was no clear-cut plan of how long this was gonna last and what was gonna happen, you know what I mean, stuff too, so. We made the decision that if we were gonna only do takeout only in the very beginning when people were really not settled into this, that it probably wouldn't be feasible. The other thing is, if we hadn't got the PPP loan, which, you know, I'm not, you know, we got stimulus money, you know, that if we hadn't got the PPP loan, that would have made it virtually impossible for us to come up with a plan to do this. But that going forward allows us to bring, you know, in order for that to be I don't know, forgiven or part, for the way it works, it gives us the opportunity to start bringing people back and stuff too. And now that we are actually seeing the light at the end of the tunnel in terms of this, it makes sense for us to get back on a slow basis to do this, so that when we reopen, whether it's 25% or 30% or 40% occupancy, we're already in a position that we're already doing stuff. Like Salt's gonna have an advantage because they've been doing it all along. So it's gonna be really good for them when they reopen, because they've already been reopened, they're not starting from ground one. And, you know, we looked at it, setting up a scenario that we were in that same situation and stuff too. Plus, like I said before, I think this is gonna be a major platform going forward for restaurants in general. So we work out our kinks of doing to-go orders before we have to work out our kinks of reopening in the new world with less tables. So it just makes sense, and it made way more sense to do it now than it did in the very beginning and stuff too. And we've looked at, you know, our menus online, maxandsaline.com, you know, and stuff, and we actually have partnered with a platform where in a few weeks it'll be up. We just signed the contract or whatever worth it. So you'll be able to go online, order right online, pay right online. They partner with a delivery service. It's all one step. It eliminates the calling in and the mistakes along the way of doing that. You know, so that'll be up, and it'll even make the process even more seamless than hopefully it's going to be today, but we'll see what happens with that. So.
Well, you know, I have to say, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. Saline is truly blessed by having the McNeil family here. A restaurant of your quality, you've stuck it out through some thick and thin, and it's not always easy. Sometimes, I mean, you could have gone anywhere. You could have gone to the state of Ann Arbor and been one, you know, but you came here and you made an identity, and I think people do appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, we moved here because of the school system back when my kids were in first grade. Because you know, I mean, my they're not kids; they're adults now. They're in their 30s, but you know, we you know, that's why we moved here, because of the exclusive school setting, and then we became part of the community, and then, you know, 10 years later, we looked at the opening of business, and it's been a long time. We've been here a long time.
How's the family holding up?
They're good. I mean, Jamie wants to get to Dan, so you he can hang out and have a beer, watch the ball game, and interact and socialize with everybody and stuff too. So stuff too. But it's hard. It's hard. It's hard for them because they just want to go out and do stuff, and they're not. But they're not. It's not the same for them. They have different challenges that make us worry about them a little bit more and stuff too. Not that I think we all need to be worried, but it's a different situation. But Todd's kind of rolling with it, and Jamie's he's bored. He's ready to just go crazy. But we've been eating good. Cindy's been cooking every night. She's actually the cook in our family. To be honest with Larry.
Really?
Yeah, and stuff really too. And I'll tell you something. It's been 55 days. We sat down as a family and had dinner together, and stuff. And there's been a lot of family. We reset. And Tran and I both grew up in Canada and stuff. And I've got people that I've been friends with. My first friend that I ever remember. My dad built in a co-op with his father. We were 4 years old, and we went all the way through the first couple of years of college together. Played hockey together and everything and stuff too. We've happy hour Zoomed till 2:30 in the morning, 3 different times since this has happened. And I only get to see him once every 2 or 3 years. So I hope that this some of the good stuff that's come of this, I just really hope we hang on to. I really do. And I like to throw fits and complain a lot and stuff, but I hope, I'm kind of an optimistic person. I really hope going forward that
I'm formulating this concept, I'm freeballing it here.
What are you doing,
Bear
Larry?
with me. I'm thinking, until you get open, maybe we can order our dinners and then Zoom in so we can kind of be dining together, but yet virtually at home. Hey, I got a million of these. I don't know. What do you think? What do you
Yeah.
think about?
We could all have our after dinner drinks together, how's that, Larry?
Hey,
That's
This is
more
why I'm
fun.
not in the restaurant business.
All right.
You know, it's funny you mentioned how special you are to a town, because I'm gonna go do some late promotion here too. I think we're lucky to have Tran.
Yep,
And, you know, I mean, you remember what it was like when we had
Yeah.
our newspaper,
Yeah.
and all that has changed, but you
Yeah.
you really need somebody beyond the, what do I want to say, with the passion for the community.
yeah.
And I do appreciate it, both of you,
yeah.
both of you
I
should.
mean, you know what, I'll
Despite
tell you,
being Canadian.
well, local, I mean, you know, local, but even, you know, I, you know what? I still get the home delivery for the Free Press, because I love reading something online that connects you with, and I'll tell you, I miss the Ann Arbor News. I mean, and I'm telling you, the online edition of MLive is not the same as it used to be, when you had local beat
Yeah.
reporters that actually covered high school sports, and you know, and you know, and local
You gotta-
issues,
you're
and
gonna
the
have to be
Saline page and the Dexter
careful
page
here,
is
Wally.
different and stuff too, so.
People are gonna start calling you what they call me,
What?
boomer. You're a boomer.
You know what, I'm perfectly fine with being a boomer.
All right, I'm gonna do it. We're running a little late here. I think we're doing okay though. Appreciate you being with us, Wally.
Yep, no problem,
Look forward to-
anytime.
And on behalf of the entire restaurant community who you represent, and we do appreciate the fact you're here, and it's just a really good
Yeah.
sign to see you back. And
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, hopefully we get back where everybody can get out and support all. We got some good restaurants here, Dan's, Paul's, you know, Brecken, Salts,
yeah.
you know, the Smokehouse, you know, we're, you know, for a small town, we're pretty lucky, because that's a lot for a small town, so.
Well, thanks, Wally.
All right, no problem, thank you, thanks, Trent.